The crystalline ships appeared on a quiet Tuesday morning, their translucent hulls refracting sunlight into prismatic displays across city skyscrapers worldwide. Dr. Elena Santos stood at her laboratory window in Geneva, coffee cup frozen halfway to her lips as she watched the phenomenon unfold. The massive vessels, each roughly the size of Manhattan, had materialized simultaneously above every major population center on Earth. Unlike the chaos depicted in science fiction movies, the initial human response was remarkably measured. Perhaps it was the ship's ethereal beauty, or maybe humanity had simply rehearsed this moment in their collective imagination so many times that they knew exactly what not to do. Dr. Santos, her eye assistant's voice carried a hint of urgency. "You're needed in the quantum communications lab. We're detecting unusual patterns in the background radiation." Linda hurried through the pristine corridors of the International Physics Institute, her mind racing through possibilities. The quantum lab was already buzzing with activity when she arrived, her team of researchers huddled around the main holographic display. "The ships are broadcasting," Dr. Yuki Tanaka, her lead researcher, announced without looking up. "But it's not radio waves or any conventional form of communication. They're manipulating quantum fields in a way I've never seen before." Leda stepped forward, her eyes narrowing as she studied the data streams. "These patterns, they're similar to our quantum entanglement experiments, but orders of magnitude more sophisticated." She gestured to a particular sequence. "Look at this signature. It's almost like they're using quantum states as a carrier wave for information." Before she could elaborate further, every screen, device, and holographic display in the facility simultaneously activated. A face appeared, if it could be called a face. The being had crystalline features that shifted like liquid glass, with points of light dancing where eyes might be on a human face. "People of Earth," the being spoke in perfect, unaccented English, its voice resonating with anotherworldly harmony. "I am First Speaker Luminax of the Galactic Council. We represent 47 advanced civilizations, united in maintaining order and progress throughout the known galaxy." Alida noticed something odd in the quantum readings during the transmission. There was a subtle fluctuation, almost like an echo, that shouldn't have been there according to any known physics models. The first speaker continued, "We have monitored your civilization's development with great interest. Your rapid technological advancement, particularly in quantum sciences, has brought you to a crucial juncture. The Council extends an offer of membership, including access to our combined knowledge and technology." Dr. Tanaka leaned closer to Elena, whispering, "They made it sound like a gift." Elena nodded, her attention split between the announcement and the increasingly peculiar quantum readings. Something about the transmission method wasn't adding up. However, the first speaker's tone shifted slightly. "Council membership requires acceptance of our guidance and oversight. Your independent technological development must be supervised to ensure compatibility with galactic standards. This is non-negotiable for the safety of all species." The quantum fluctuations spiked dramatically during that last statement. Elena's fingers flew across her holographic interface, isolating the anomaly. "Their quantum field manipulation. It's inefficient," she muttered, more to herself than her colleagues. "They're brute forcing it, using massive energy to achieve what we can do with precise calibration." As world leaders scrambled to formulate responses, Elena made a discovery that would reshape humanity's position entirely. The Council's supposedly advanced quantum technology relied on principles that human scientists had abandoned years ago as inefficient. Humanity's unique approach to quantum physics, born from their relatively brief but intensive study of the field, had inadvertently surpassed the Council's methods in several crucial areas. Elena looked up at the crystalline face still broadcasting its message of benevolent supervision, a slight smile playing at her lips. "They don't know," she said softly. "They have no idea that their advanced technology is using outdated principles." She straightened up, already composing a message to the World Science Council in her mind. This wasn't just first contact, it was humanity's first glimpse of the fundamental advantage they never knew they had. The cosmic chess game had begun, and humanity's opening move would be one no one saw coming. Least of all the Galactic Council. Dr. Elena Santos had spent 3 sleepless nights in her quantum laboratory, surrounded by holographic displays showing the intricate dance of quantum particles. Her discovery about the Council's technological limitations had sparked a frenzied but carefully concealed research effort worldwide. Each new test confirmed her initial hypothesis. Human brains interacted with quantum fields in ways that seemed impossible to Council technology. The results are consistent across all test subjects, Dr. Tanaka reported, sliding a holographic data set across the air to Elena. Human neural patterns naturally create quantum entanglement effects that the Council's systems require massive energy expenditure to achieve. Elena manipulated the hologram, expanding a particular section showing brainwave patterns during quantum field interaction. It's not just that we're more efficient, she mused, tracing a finger along a peculiar wave pattern. We're doing something fundamentally different. The laboratory door whispered open as Admiral James Chen entered, his uniform crisp despite the early hour. Dr. Santos, please tell me you have something we can use. The Council is getting impatient for our response. Elena gestured to a simple metal headband sitting on her workbench. We've developed this prototype. It amplifies the natural quantum field interactions of the human brain. She picked it up, turning it in her hands. Watch. Placing the headband on her head, Elena closed her eyes. The quantum field sensors around the room lit up with activity, displaying patterns of impossible complexity. Our brains naturally create these patterns, she explained. The Council's quantum computers can't replicate this level of complexity without using enough energy to power a small city. Admiral Chen leaned forward, his expression intensely focused. And this gives us an advantage. More than that, Elena smiled. It gives us a completely secure communication channel. The Council can't detect or intercept signals they don't know exist. She removed the headband and pulled up another holographic display. We've already tested it successfully between labs in Geneva and Tokyo. The implications were staggering. While the Council believed they were dealing with a relatively primitive species just beginning to grasp quantum physics, humanity had inadvertently developed an entirely different approach to quantum manipulation, one based on their unique neural architecture. There's something else, Dr. Tanaka interjected, bringing up a new data set. We've detected similar quantum patterns emanating from children during creative activities. Drawing, singing, even playing. It's like their uninhibited minds naturally access quantum states that the Council considers theoretical. Elena nodded. This could explain why human creativity seems so chaotic to them. We're not just thinking in 3 dimensions. Our minds naturally operate in quantum space. Admiral Chen paced the laboratory, absorbing the implications. So while they're expecting us to either submit or resist conventionally, we're already operating on a level they don't understand, Elena finished. But we need to keep this quiet. If they realize what we can do. The Admiral stopped pacing. How quickly can you scale up production of these headbands? We've already sent the designs to secure facilities in 20 countries. Dr. Tanaka replied. Production began yesterday. We're calling it Project Whisper. Elena turned to a final holographic display showing a global network of quantum connections gradually taking shape. Within a week, we'll have a completely secure global quantum communication network that the Council can't detect. Within 2 weeks, we can extend it to our lunar bases and Mars colonies. The Admiral smiled for the first time since the Council's arrival. So when they demand our answer, we'll be ready, Elena assured him. But there's one more thing. She brought up the original transmission from the Council ships. These quantum fluctuations we detected, they're not just inefficiency. I think they're evidence of internal communication between Council species. And if we can detect it, we can listen in. Admiral Chen finished, understanding dawning in his eyes. Elena nodded. The council thinks they're evaluating us. They don't realize we can already see behind their curtain. The question is, what will we learn before they'd figure it out? As if in answer, one of the quantum sensors pinged, detecting a new pattern of council communications above Earth. The game of secrets and shadows was about to enter its next phase, and humanity had already changed the rules. The United Nations Security Council chamber had been transformed into a hub of quantum-enhanced technology, holographic displays showing real-time positions of council ships hovering above Earth's major cities. Secretary General Maya Patel stood at the center, her steady voice carrying across the room as she addressed the emergency session. The Quantum Defense Network is now at 70% coverage, she reported, gesturing to a glowing grid that encompassed much of Earth's atmosphere. Dr. Santos' team has confirmed that our systems remain undetected by Council surveillance. Ambassador Liu Wei from China adjusted his quantum headband, now standard equipment for all high-level government officials. Our response to their latest inquiry must be carefully crafted. We need more time without arousing suspicion. Agreed. Elena stepped forward, her holographic presence transmitted from her laboratory in Geneva. Our analysis of their quantum communications suggests they're interpreting our diplomatic responses as signs of internal disagreement. They believe we're stalling because we're afraid. The chamber's main display shifted to show a complex matrix of intercepted council communications. Elena had developed an elegant classification system that translated their quantum patterns into readable data. The latest intercepts revealed something unexpected. They're planning a demonstration, Admiral Chen announced, highlighting a particular sequence. A show of force designed to encourage our cooperation. 3 days from now, they intend to disable our global communication networks temporarily. Instead of panic, the announcement was met with several smiles around the room. Perfect timing, Secretary General Patel noted. Phase 3 of our quantum shield deployment will be complete in 48 hours. Elena manipulated the holographic display, showing the intricate web of quantum-enhanced satellites now orbiting Earth. The beauty of our system is its simplicity, she explained. While they're preparing massive energy weapons, our quantum shields work by redirecting their own energy against them. The more force they use, the stronger our defense becomes, Admiral Chen finished, like a cosmic aikido. Dr. Tanaka's hologram appeared beside Elena's, adding, "We've also discovered something remarkable about their ship configurations. Their crystalline structure, it's not just aesthetic. They're using it as a massive quantum computer, but it's based on rigid, predictable patterns. Unlike human quantum computing, which thrives on uncertainty and probability," Elena continued, "their entire technological approach is built on control and predictability. They literally cannot comprehend how our systems work, because they're looking for patterns that don't exist." Secretary General Patel nodded thoughtfully. "So when we send our next diplomatic response, we stick to their expected patterns," Ambassador Lai suggested. Formal, slightly anxious, requesting additional time for internal discussions. Meanwhile, the display shifted to show Earth's growing network of quantum-enhanced defenses, invisible to Council detection methods. Each node represented a point where human consciousness interfaced directly with quantum fields, creating a defense grid that operated on principles the Council considered theoretically impossible. One more thing, Elena added, bringing up a new data set. "We've detected increasing variations in Council communications. Some species, particularly their younger members, are showing quantum patterns remarkably similar to human creative expression. They're beginning to resonate with our way of thinking without even realizing it." Admiral Chen smiled. "So while they're preparing to demonstrate their power, we're already changing them," Elena finished, "not through force or technology, but through the simple fact of being human. Secretary General Patel straightened, her decision made. Send our response to the Council. Express our deep appreciation for their patience as we consider their generous offer. Request an additional week for proper consideration of all implications. That should give us time to complete the defense grid and gather more intelligence. As the quantum encrypted message was transmitted to the Council ships, Elena watched the response patterns with satisfaction. They were accepting Earth's apparent submission at face value, never suspecting that humanity's greatest deception was simply being themselves. The pieces were in place. When the Council made their move, they would discover that humanity's response had been planned long before they even knew they needed one. The next phase would reveal just how unprepared they were for the species they thought they could simply absorb into their hierarchy. The first contact from the Luminari came through an unexpected channel, a children's art exhibition in Tokyo. Elena was reviewing quantum field data when Dr. Tanaka burst into her lab, his usually calm demeanor shattered by excitement. The paintings, he gasped, pulling up a holographic display. Look at the quantum signatures around them. They're responding to something. Elena studied the readings, her eyes widening. Children's artwork, displayed in a small gallery, was generating quantum resonance patterns that matched frequencies they detected from one of the smaller Council species ships. But these weren't random correlations. There was communication happening. Get me a secure link to the gallery, Elena commanded, adjusting her quantum headband. Within moments, the gallery curator's confused face appeared in a hologram. Those paintings in the quantum resonance exhibit. Are there any visitors showing particular interest in them? The curator nodded. Yes, actually. A rather unusual pair. They seem different. She discreetly angled her camera toward two tall, slender figures whose skin seemed to shimmer with subtle iridescence. Their eyes were fixed on a chaotic finger painting by a 6-year-old. Luminari, Elena breathed. The quantum readings confirmed it. They're not just looking at the art. They're communicating through it. Within hours, the secure quantum channel was established in the gallery's back room. The Luminari representatives, introducing themselves as First Light and Dawn Singer, revealed an astonishing truth. Our species has always been considered limited by Council standards. First Light explained, their skin rippling with patterns of light. Our quantum sensitivity was deemed too chaotic, too unpredictable for proper advancement. Dawn Singer gestured to the children's artwork. But these patterns your young ones create, they match our natural quantum state perfectly. We've never encountered another species that could generate quantum resonance through pure creativity. Elena shared a look with Dr. Tanaka. Your quantum patterns, they're not chaos at all, are they? They're art. Yes. First Light's skin blazed with excitement. The Council's rigid quantum mathematics can't comprehend it. But humans, especially your children, naturally create and understand these patterns. You don't even realize you're doing it. The implications were staggering. The Luminari weren't just any Council species. They were responsible for maintaining the Council's quantum communication networks. And they had just recognized humans as kindred spirits. We've been sharing human art and music through our networks, Dawn Singer admitted. The quantum patterns they generate, they're awakening something in our young ones. And not just ours. Other species are beginning to resonate as well. Dr. Tanaka quickly pulled up recent quantum intercepts. That explains these anomalies we've been detecting. The Council's communication network is becoming more organic, more fluid. It's adapting to carry these new patterns. The Council believes they're evaluating humanity's readiness for integration. First Light's patterns shifted to something more serious. They don't understand that their systems are already integrating with human consciousness. Elena leaned forward, and when they attempt their show of force. Their weapons rely on perfectly controlled quantum states, Dawn Singer explained. But their communication networks are already carrying human-influence patterns. The resonance, it could disrupt everything they think they know about quantum manipulation. As if to demonstrate, Dawn Singer approached one of the children's paintings. Their skin began to ripple with colors that exactly matched the chaotic brushstrokes. The quantum sensors recorded patterns that, according to Council physics, should have been impossible. "We're not offering alliance," First Light clarified. "We're offering understanding. The Council's greatest weakness is their inability to see beyond their own patterns." Elena nodded, already formulating plans. "And humanity's greatest strength is that he never had patterns to begin with," Dawn Singer finished. "Your chaos is your clarity." As the luminary departed, disappearing into the Tokyo crowds with remarkable ease, Elena sent a quantum-encrypted message to the Security Council. The game had changed again. They weren't just defending against the Council anymore. They were rewriting the fundamental language of galactic civilization, one figure painting at a time. The Grand Council chamber aboard the primary crystalline ship sparkled with artificial starlight as Elena and Secretary General Patel presented Earth's request for cultural exchange initiatives. Their quantum headbands, disguised as simple translators, quietly monitored every fluctuation in the vast chamber's quantum field. "We seek to understand your ways before making our final decision," Patel explained, her diplomatic training evident in every measured word. "Surely the Council recognizes the value of informed choices." First Speaker Luminax's crystalline features shifted in what Elena had learned to recognize as confusion. "Your species continues to perplex us. You request cultural exchange, yet show little interest in our advanced technology." Elena stepped forward, carefully maintaining the quantum camouflage that hid her headband's true capabilities. "With respect, First Speaker, we believe understanding precedes advancement. May we demonstrate a traditional Earth custom?" The Council chamber's quantum field rippled with curiosity. Elena nodded to the small delegation behind her, and soft music began to play, a piece specifically composed to generate complex quantum harmonies that the luminary had helped them perfect. "On Earth, we believe music and dance transcend language," Elena explained as two dancers moved forward. Their performance, a fusion of classical ballet and contemporary dance, was choreographed to create specific quantum resonance patterns. The effect was immediate. Several Council species, particularly the younger representatives, began displaying signs of quantum synchronization with the performance. The luminary delegates, strategically positioned around the chamber, subtly amplified these patterns through their own quantum sensitivity. "Fascinating," a Meridian counselor commented, their metallic scales reflecting the starlight. "The neural patterns this generates, they're remarkably similar to our deep space navigation calculations." Elena suppressed a smile. They'd counted on this revelation. Human artistic expression naturally created quantum states that other species use complex technology to achieve. The dancers moved through their final sequence, their movements generating quantum harmonies that even the Council's most sophisticated sensors couldn't fully analyze. "We propose a series of such exchanges," Secretary General Patel continued smoothly, "each demonstrating different aspects of human culture. In return, we wish to learn about your species' unique expressions of consciousness." First, Speaker Luminax conferred briefly with other senior council members, their quantum communications now clearly visible to Elena's enhanced perception. "Your proposal is unusual, but perhaps valuable for proper integration assessment." As they left the chamber, Elena's quantum headband detected scattered conversations among council species. The Meridians discussing human dance in relation to space travel. The crystalline Axioni comparing human music to their energy distribution networks. Even the traditionally stoic vanguard showing increased neural activity patterns, matching human creative expression. Back in the secure Earth delegation chamber, Admiral Chen's hologram appeared. The quantum defense grid just picked up something interesting. Several Council ships are attempting to recreate the quantum harmonies for their demonstration. "Perfect," Elena replied. They're trying to understand it through technology. But these patterns come from consciousness itself. The more they study us, the more they'll have to recognize that their understanding of quantum physics is incomplete. Patel finished. Dr. Santos, your strategy is working better than we hoped. Elena brought up a holographic display showing the spreading influence of human quantum patterns through the Council's communication network. Like ripples in a pond, each cultural exchange created waves that the Council's rigid systems couldn't quite suppress. The luminary report that 3 more species have requested private quantum channels with Earth. Dr. Tanaka added, his hologram joining the discussion. They're particularly interested in human visual arts and music. Secretary General Patel studied the data with satisfaction. So while they think they're evaluating us for membership, we're actually teaching them a new way to perceive reality itself, Lena concluded. Not through force or demands, but through art, music, and dance. The very things they considered irrelevant to advanced civilization. The quantum field rippled with new council communications. More species requesting cultural exchanges, more questions about human methods, more cracks appearing in their rigid hierarchy. Earth's revolution would not be fought with weapons, but with paintings, songs, and dance steps that rewrote the quantum language of the galaxy itself. The moment of truth arrived with less ceremony than anyone expected. First, Speaker Luminax's quantum transmission interrupted a routine council session, their crystalline features displaying what Alida now recognized as barely concealed frustration. Humanity's period of consideration has exceeded reasonable limits. The first speaker announced, the Council requires your final response regarding integration. Alida stood in the United Nations chamber, surrounded by holographic displays, showing the completion of Earth's quantum defense network. She nodded to Secretary General Patel, who activated her quantum headband. Honorable Council, Patel began, we appreciate your patience. Before we provide our answer, we wish to share one final demonstration of human capability. Alida stepped forward, adjusting her own quantum headband. What we're about to show you represents humanity's natural understanding of quantum mechanics. She gestured, and holographic displays materialized throughout the council chamber, showing real-time quantum field manipulations. Impossible! A senior council scientist declared, their crystalline forms shifting rapidly. These quantum states cannot be maintained without massive energy expenditure. Lena smiled. Actually, they can. Human consciousness naturally generates these patterns. We don't force quantum fields into rigid structures. We dance with them. She began manipulating quantum fields with subtle hand gestures, creating complex patterns that, according to council physics, should have required the energy output of a small star. The chamber erupted in confused quantum communications as council species struggled to understand what they were seeing. The luminary representatives, positioned strategically around the room, began amplifying the patterns, demonstrating how human quantum manipulation could be naturally replicated by other species. This is how we navigate quantum space, Elena explained, projecting a visualization of human quantum travel calculations. No massive computers, no energy-intensive field generators. Just consciousness in harmony with quantum reality. A young Meridian scientist broke protocol, floating forward. The efficiency ratios, they're beyond anything in our records. How long have you possessed this technology? It's not technology, Elena corrected gently. It's understanding. Every human child naturally perceives quantum relationships. We didn't build machines to manipulate quantum fields. We learned to express what we already knew. Dr. Tanaka's hologram appeared, displaying data from the past months of cultural exchange. Your own scientists have begun replicating these patterns, particularly after exposure to human art and music. The quantum harmony is already spreading through your networks. The council chamber's quantum field fluctuated wildly as species after species recognized the patterns in their own recent experiments and experiences. The rigid structure of Council quantum mathematics was dissolving in the face of human intuitive understanding. We've detected 47 distinct quantum signatures requesting direct neural interface with human quantum patterns, Admiral Chen reported through a secure channel, including 15 Council High Command vessels. First, Speaker Luminex's form rippled with what might have been uncertainty. You propose to teach Council species these methods. We propose collaboration, Secretary General Patel replied. Not submission or integration, but mutual exchange. Humanity offers our understanding of quantum consciousness, while we learn from your millennia of cosmic experience. Elena brought up a final display, a galaxy-wide quantum network based on consciousness rather than computation. Together, we can create something entirely new, a quantum civilization that grows through understanding rather than control. The Council's quantum field resonated with unprecedented patterns as species after species began attempting human-style quantum manipulation. The Luminari were first, their natural abilities flowering in the presence of human consciousness. Then the Meridians, their space travel calculations taking on artistic qualities. Even the crystalline Axioni found their rigid structures capable of organic quantum flow. It seems, first, Speaker Luminax admitted, it formed now shifting in smooth, almost human-like patterns, that the Council has much to learn from Earth. As the chamber filled with new quantum harmonies, the sound of a civilization transforming, Elena shared a quiet smile with her team. Humanity hadn't just avoided submission. They had shown the galaxy a new way to receive reality itself. The age of rigid quantum physics was ending, replaced by something far more beautiful, the quantum dance of consciousness across the stars. The transformation of Galactic society unfolded like a quantum symphony. Helena stood in her expanded laboratory, now housed in a repurposed Council ship, watching holographic displays track the spread of human quantum consciousness techniques across known space. Another 12 species have successfully established quantum neural networks, Dr. Tanaka reported, manipulating the galactic display. The Meridians have adapted human dance patterns into their space navigation protocols. Their ships now move through quantum space with unprecedented efficiency. Secretary General Patel's hologram materialized, her expression thoughtful. The Council's internal structure is evolving faster than we anticipated. Traditional power hierarchies are being replaced by natural quantum resonance groups. Elena nodded, studying the intricate web of connections forming between species. It's not just about technology anymore. They're learning to communicate through consciousness itself. Each species adds its own unique patterns to the quantum tapestry. A sudden alert drew their attention to a new quantum signature. First Light, their luminary ally, appeared in a shimmer of iridescent light. The Council's younger members have called for an emergency session. They're proposing a complete reorganization of galactic society. The main display shifted to show the Grand Council chamber, now transformed by streams of visible quantum energy flowing between representatives. Species that once relied on rigid protocols now communicated through harmonious quantum resonance, their consciousness patterns interweaving like threads in a cosmic fabric. We've discovered something remarkable. First Light continued, their form rippling with excitement. When multiple species align their quantum consciousness patterns, we can achieve states of understanding that were theoretically impossible. The barriers between distinct forms of consciousness are dissolving. Dr. Tanaka quickly pulled up the data. The quantum field harmonics, they're creating new forms of consciousness. Not human, not alien, but something entirely new. Elena watched as the patterns danced across her displays. It's like a universal translation system, but instead of converting words, it's sharing entire states of being. Each species maintains its unique identity while experiencing the consciousness of others. The Council's senior members are struggling to maintain control, Admiral Chen's hologram reported, joining the discussion. Their authority was based on technological superiority, but that means nothing when consciousness itself becomes the medium of advancement. A new quantum signature caught Alina's attention, a pattern she'd never seen before. Look at this. The Axiomi children are spontaneously generating quantum states that match human creativity patterns. They're not copying us. They're discovering their own natural quantum consciousness. Secretary General Patel smiled. So rather than humanity joining the council, the galaxy is learning to dance, Alina finished, and each species is finding its own steps. First Light's form shimmered with complex patterns. The Council's younger generations are calling it the Great Awakening. Species that were considered primitive because they couldn't master rigid quantum technology are now recognized as naturally gifted in quantum consciousness. The displays showed the rapid formation of new connections, species linking consciousness patterns in ways that defied traditional council categories. The hierarchy that had governed galactic civilization for 50,000 years was transforming into an organic network of shared understanding. We never needed their technology, Dr. Tanaka realized. We just needed to show them that consciousness itself is the most sophisticated technology of all. Alina brought up a final display, a prototype for a new form of quantum space travel based on consciousness harmonics. When we combined human intuitive understanding with council experience, we could achieve things neither of us could manage alone. It's not about who's more advanced anymore. It's about how we resonate together. First Light agreed, their quantum pattern synchronizing naturally with the humans in the room. As they watched the galaxy reshape itself through quantum consciousness, Alina reflected on how far they'd come. Humanity had faced the choice between submission and defiance, and instead found a third path, transformation. Not through force or technology, but through the simple act of being human and sharing that experience with the cosmos. The stars themselves seemed to shine brighter, resonating with the quantum songs of awakened civilizations, learning to dance together across the infinite expanse of space. 1 year after humanity's first contact with the Galactic Council, the transformed council chamber bore little resemblance to its original crystalline rigidity. Quantum consciousness patterns flowed freely through the space, carrying thoughts, emotions, and understanding between species in ways that transcended traditional communication. Alina stood before the assembled representatives, her quantum headband now a ceremonial reminder of how far they'd come. The technology that once served to hide humanity's capabilities now symbolized the bridge between different forms of consciousness. The quantum consciousness network now spans 3,000 light years, she reported, as holographic displays showed the vast, interconnected web of species learning and growing together. We've documented the emergence of 200 new forms of quantum resonance patterns, each representing a unique way of perceiving reality. Secretary General Patel stepped forward, her presence both physical and quantum, reaching every consciousness in the chamber. What began as a demand for submission has become the greatest revolution in galactic history, not through conflict, but through understanding. First, Speaker Luminax, their crystalline form, now flowing with organic grace, addressed the assembly. The old council sought to control and categorize. We failed to understand that consciousness cannot be contained within rigid structures. Humanity showed us a better way. Dr. Tanaka's hologram appeared, displaying data from the latest quantum consciousness studies. The children of different species are developing natural quantum resonance abilities we never imagined possible. They don't see barriers between species. They see patterns of consciousness waiting to be explored. The Quantum Harmony Protocol Alina announced, bringing up the proposed framework for the new Galactic organization, recognizes that every species brings unique patterns to our shared consciousness. There are no hierarchies in quantum resonance, only different frequencies of understanding. The chamber hummed with approval as consciousness patterns from thousands of representatives merged and flowed. The luminaries' artistic quantum states wove through meridian space-time calculations, while axioni crystal harmonics resonated with human creativity. First Light, now a senior representative of the Transformed Council, demonstrated by merging their consciousness pattern with Alina's. The assembled representatives witnessed their shared perception, a vision of galaxy where consciousness flowed as freely as light between stars. We proposed, Secretary General Patel continued, a new foundation for galactic civilization, not built on technology or power, but on the infinite varieties of consciousness itself. Each species maintains its unique identity while contributing to our shared understanding of reality. Admiral Chen's hologram added, "Our quantum defense network has been reproposed into the galaxy's first consciousness-based transportation system. Ships now navigate through quantum space using harmony rather than computation." The displays showed vessels of various species moving through space in what looked more like an intricate dance than traditional travel. Each ship's quantum field resonated with the others, creating efficient paths through space-time that the old council had considered theoretically impossible. But perhaps most importantly, Elena concluded, we've discovered that consciousness itself is infinite in its potential. Every day we find new patterns, new harmonies, new ways of being. The galaxy is not just alive, it's awake and singing. The chamber erupted in a symphony of quantum consciousness patterns as species after species added their approval to the new protocol. The rigid hierarchy of the past dissolved completely, replaced by an organic network of shared understanding that grew stronger with each new pattern it embraced. First, Speaker Luminax, in what would be their final act in that role, initiated the quantum transition sequence. The old council's authority structures dissolved like morning mist, replaced by the warm light of shared consciousness spreading across the galaxy. As Elena watched the transformation complete itself, she felt the quantum patterns of countless species resonating with their own consciousness. Humanity had not merely survived their first contact with galactic civilization. They had helped birth a new form of civilization entirely. The stars themselves seemed to pulse with new life as consciousness flowed freely between them, carrying the songs of countless species learning to dance together in the infinite quantum harmony of space. The age of separation was over. The dawn of shared consciousness had begun. A new chapter in galactic history was opening, written not in words or equations, but in the endless patterns of awakened consciousness reaching out across the stars. The end.